rise for the jury.
Oh, please be seated. We stand for you. All right, everyone, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience with us. I'm going to give you an oath. This is an oath that is for this specific case. So if each of you can raise your hand for me, please. Do you and each of you solemnly swear that in the case of the state of Texas versus Duran Evans, you will a true verdict render according to the law and the evidence, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. State, you may proceed.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury of Duran County, state of Texas, duly organized and paneled and sworn as such at the March term 2024, the 437th Judicial District Court of said county and said court at said term do present and to said court that in the county and state aforesaid and anterior to the presentment of this indictment, on or about the 24th day of September 2022, Duran Evans, here as referred to the defendant, did intentionally, knowingly, and recklessly cause bodily injury to Zanini Jefferson, a member of the defendant's family, by intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly impeding the normal breathing or circulation of the blood of Zanini Jefferson by applying pressure to the throat or neck of Zanini Jefferson against the peace and dignity of the state.
To that, how do you plead?
I'm not guilty.
All right, you may be seated. State, you may proceed with your opening statements.
Thank you, Your Honor. Pleases the court, counsel, morning, everyone. Accountability. That's what this trial is going to be about, ladies and gentlemen. Being held accountable for the wrongs that you do. Not everybody likes it, not everybody wants it, but we as the state of Texas expect it. This trial is actually going to be a lot more simple than you guys are anticipating. By the end of this trial, it should be easy for you all to determine the defendant impeded the normal breathing, the complainant in this case, and yet he felt like he would not be held accountable for doing so. Now, in this trial, you're going to hear about an outing that took place one fall day. What started out as a family movie night turned into an assault and a broken family. You will hear from Zanini Jefferson. She is the complainant in this case. She is going to tell you about her relationship with the defendant, Mr. Duran Evans, and the effect that he has had on her family. She is going to tell you about how her own stepfather, the defendant, reacted. She pushed his buttons, got angry. He wanted to get her attention, and he put his own hand around her neck. You will hear her tell you she could not breathe, and you will also hear her tell you it took two different people to get the defendant to release his grip of her neck. You are also going to hear from Barbara Jefferson. She is grandmother of Zanini and the mother-in-law of the defendant. She will tell you that she was present when this assault occurred. She is going to give you her account of what she witnessed that day and how she saw the defendant put his hands around her granddaughter's neck. You're going to hear from Officer Caballero, the Live Oak Police Department. She's going to tell you about her interaction with Zanini and Barbara, what she did after she met with them. And lastly, you're going to hear from Sergeant Rudy Jimenez. He's going to tell you about when he was a detective with the Live Oak Police Department. He's going to tell you about the subsequent investigation that he conducted regarding this matter and how he was able to determine what crime had occurred. Now, I also anticipate that you are going to hear from someone named Myosha Evans. She is the mother of Zanini, the daughter of Barbara, and the wife of that defendant right there. I anticipate she's going to testify for her husband, the defendant. Now, please remember what we talked about a couple of days ago during jury selection, when we talked about the topic of family violence and that a mother would testify against her own daughter. Please also remember during jury selection what we talked about listening to all evidence that is presented to you during this trial. I do anticipate you're going to hear different stories about what occurred that day. Please focus on all the evidence that is presented to you during this trial. Listen to every witness that gets right up here on the witness stand and testifies. Listen attentively. Listen to who is consistent and who is inconsistent. And please also consider who really has a motive to lie during this trial. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is all about accountability. Being held accountable for the wrongs that you may like, no matter how justified you may feel at the time that you're committing the crimes. Everyone must face consequences of the wrongs that they do. We are asking that you hold this defendant accountable for the wrongs that he did, find him guilty of committing this assault. Thank you.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. You know what? I agree. There does need to be some accountability. Somebody needs to hold Zinani accountable for lying. To me, this case is a lot about credibility of the witnesses, right? A lot of this is about the credibility of the witnesses, the people that y'all are going to hear. You know, I anticipate that we're going to hear some of the witnesses in this case. Just found this out yesterday. I anticipate you're going to find out. Right below our feet, one of these witnesses was pleading guilty to a violent felony that was never disclosed. I anticipate you're going to hear this police department itself is under investigation for silencing and editing videos. I anticipate that you're going to find out there was one video in this case. When Zinani came to make a statement and it was time to record it, video got screwed up. Guess whose video it was? The guy we didn't know is down there pleading to a violent felony. Magically, his dude. I anticipate you're going to find out this case was not vetted at all. You're going to find out that none of the witnesses talked to anybody at this table until this trial was already starting. They want to talk about credibility of witnesses. How can you assess the credibility of a witness you never spoke to? A case you never looked into? What about the officers that are going to come in here? And I anticipate they're going to
Sustain.
I anticipate these officers are going to come in here and I anticipate they're going to tell you, oh, I had no clue Kennedy was on the body camera. I had no clue. You're going to assess these officers' credibility, right? And that's not even getting to Zinani and Barbara. They said you're going to hear from Zinani's mom, right? You know who else you're going to hear from? Zinani's twin. Probably going to hear from her younger sister, Isis, too. You're going to hear about how dishonest she is. You're going to hear about how she lives in her own world, in her own reality. Let me tell you what really happened that day. Zinani's been going through a lot, right? She's got some mental issues that she's dealing with. She's definitely got some emotional issues that she's dealing with. You're going to see in her text messages, you want to talk about a motive to lie? Zinani sends text messages, I want you to burn in hell. I hate you. If you trust that, you're going to hear that. What I anticipate. I anticipate also, you're going to hear a bunch of versions of the story from Zinani herself. So Zinani's not doing well, right? She's also sick. She's got a kidney disease, right? So does her twin sister. Her twin sister got the help she needed. She didn't. She's a little bitter about that. She's down. She's depressed. So what happens? Well, Duran goes and takes her and his mother-in-law to the movies to go cheer him up. I can't remember what movie they saw, but it's definitely not something Duran wanted to see. Something they wanted to see. So he takes them to the movie. Everything's going great. When they're leaving the movie theater, Zinani starts freaking out. She can't find her phone, right? She's already not that stable, can't find her phone. They're trying to calm her down. They've seen this before. They drive her back. She goes in by herself. It's taking a little while. Now they start to think, oh no, we know Zinani. We know how she is. What's going on in there? So Duran goes in there. He goes in there. She's throwing a fit. She's already making false accusations while she's in there. She's accusing them of stealing her phone, right? Luckily, she didn't call the live, PD for that because they probably would have filed a case for theft on that, right? So Duran comes out. He helps her find her phone, right? Calms her down. He's trying to explain to her, look, you just can't accuse people. These people are freaked out when he walks in. You just can't do this, son. You can't act this way. Come on, man. What are you doing? Think about this. They really steal your phone in some modern day. People can track it. No one stole your phone. We found it under your seat. Do you not see how your emotions gives you these false perceptions and you're accusing people? Come on. They go get in the car and it's not upset. She's pissed off, right? And she's just playing into Duran in the backseat. But he didn't take her side. No one takes her side. Blah, 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 blah. She's telling them to shut the fuck up. So what does he do? He's driving off. She's in the backseat. He turns around, sticks finger in the face, says, no, you shut the fuck up. And then he parks the car and he gets out and he walks off. You're going to see videos. It's impossible, this little car they're in with the center console, to reach back and choke with two hands. Okay? You're going to see some video about that, right? So that you can see how physically impossible that is, right? But also think about this. She finds her phone, right? She doesn't report this the day it happened. No, she waits. She waits to report this. Really, her first written statement, the first statement, because they lost the first one when she comes in, right? Doesn't come in for like a week, right? They actually get their slips to write their statement. They don't turn it in for a little while. I anticipate there was some back and forth with her and Barbara about whether Barbara really wanted to file. And then you're going to hear from the sisters what the pressure was on Barbara, because they were saying Barbara lives with Zanani and she's no longer going to live with Zanani, and she's out the house. And then suddenly, when everybody told her, no, we're not going to take on grandma, all of a sudden, grandma changes. She turns in her story, and her story changes. The own investigator, when he calls and speaks to her, the investigator tells her, your story says it was one-handed, and then at the bottom, you put it was two-handed, put an arrow to correct it, make it match. And what's going on? And he's going to question her. Are you perjuring yourself? So these are not credible witnesses. This is not an incredible investigation. You don't think she would leave and she took no pictures of her neck when she left. There's no visible injuries. She didn't even try to take pictures. You're also going to learn when her and Barbara get home, she's giving Barbara the silent treatment for a couple of days. Why? Why would you do that? If you just got choked up, your grandma's your good friend that lives with you, why wouldn't you talk about what just happened in the car, right? I think you're going to find out what actually happened is he really did stick a finger in her face, and he really did call her out in her bullshit. And yeah, he was pissed off. A man can only take so much, but he never grabbed her and choked her. And she knows that. And I anticipate you're going to find out she's doing that because she wants to inflict maximum pressure and pain on him. To make him come in for 3 years, be fighting this thing, paying for parking, coming up here, stressed out, is going to be a convicted felon.
Sustained.
We talked about that Potomac Village. That's exactly what you're about to see during the state's case. And I just hope that you wait, because we're going to get off. We're going to walk around. And this case has so many problems. Y'all are not going to be able to get past your doubts. Thank you.
All right, state, call your first witness.
Your Honor, at this time, the state calls Officer Caballero to the stand.
All right. Would you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, have a seat. Just make sure you keep your voice so everyone can hear.
Okay.
And if you'll state your name and spell your last name for the record, please.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Janie Caballero. Last name is spelled Caballero.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Good morning, Officer Caballero.
Good morning.
Good.
Good.
Caballero, where are you currently employed?
With the Live Oak Police Department.
And how long have you been with Live Oak Police?
17 years.
What qualifications do you need to be a police officer there?
I needed to have my peace officer certification. So I did that in 1998. And I went to work for the Harlandale Independent School District as a campus officer for 10 years prior to applying for Live Oak.
And is there any type of ongoing continuing education that you need to take to be a police officer?
Every 2 years to keep our license, we have to do 40 hours of training to keep our license active.
And what's your role with Live Oak?
I'm on patrol, and I just became a field training officer.
Were you employed with the Live Oak Police Department back in 2022?
Yes,
And what was your role with them then?
patrol.
And what does the patrol officer do?
We either answer calls as they come in to dispatch. The dispatch will send us to certain calls, or we just drive around, do proactive, community-oriented policing.
When you respond to calls, do you continue the investigation, or what do you do at the scene?
I do not. If it's something criminal that has to continue and being investigated, I do my initial report, and then it goes to our detectives.
Do you recall being dispatched to a call on September 28, 2022?
I only recall because I read the report.
And do you remember the report number?
I have it on my phone because they send it to me.
That's okay. Did you make a report at that time?
Yes.
And would looking at a copy of the report help refresh
Yeah.
your memory?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Now, Officer Caballero, what did I hand you?
The police report that I took.
And how do you know that's the one you took?
It has my name on it.
Okay. If at any point in time you don't remember anything, please feel free to refresh your memory from the report, but
Okay.
don't read it out loud, okay?
Okay.
All right, and counsel, so that the record can be clear, on what she's viewing. Could you mark that as an exhibit?
Yes, Your Honor, that's gonna be State's Exhibit 1, but not admitted into evidence.
All right, thank you.
Yes, Judge.
Your Honor, could we have an opportunity to verify if it's the same one that we've got?
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, State, you may proceed.
Now, Officer Caballero, were you dispatched to the station on that day?
Yes.
And why were you dispatched to Live Oak Police Department?
To take a call over the phone?
Okay. Is that unusual for you?
No.
And why is that not unusual?
A lot of people don't want to come in to the police department, or they don't want us to go to their residence to file police reports. So a lot of them do call us over the phone, and we are allowed to take reports over the phone.
So what happened when you arrived to the police department?
So I looked at the notes that the dispatch had written, and I believe they said it was some type of an assault. So I contacted the complainant over the phone from my desk.
And did you actually speak to the complainant?
Yes,
Do you recall the complainant's name?
I do not.
Would looking at a copy of your report help refresh your memory?
Yes. And do you want me to say the name?
Yes, ma'am. If it helps you refresh memory, but don't read off the report. All right?
Okay, Zanani Jefferson.
Thank you, officer. So when you spoke to Ms. Jefferson, without going into what she said, did she describe the elements of an offense?
Yes.
And what do you do next as an officer?
Again, I asked her what occurred, when it occurred, where it occurred. And then I let them know if they want to file, if it's on the phone and they do want to file criminal charges, they would have to come into our police department to complete a witness statement.
Were you giving these details of when it occurred and how?
Yes.
To your knowledge, was it assault? Did it occur on the same day that the call came in?
No,
And is that unusual in your experience?
no.
What did you do next after you took this report down?
I just wrote my report and I submitted it to my supervisor. They have to go over it, and if they feel that it's okay, then they send it to our detectives.
And what kind of offense was described to you?
An assault.
And after you submitted it to the detective, did you have any further involvement with this case?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, defense?
Thank you. Officer, what did you do to prepare for court today?
Nothing. I just read my report over the phone because it was sent to me over the phone.
When was did you talk to any of the other officers on this case?
I talked to them yesterday when y'all requested me,
Before, I never requested
or
your name.
somebody requested me to call apparently I didn't see the video until it was brought to my attention. There was 2 officers in that video, and I was asked to say who the officers were and if I could contact one of the officers to identify the second officer in the video.
Now you say identify the second officer, but it was actually to identify both, correct?
I knew who the first. Yes, you're right.
So is it not true that you actually said the people in that video are Corporal Jeremy Ruiz, and
Mhm.
you said he's opening a door,
Yes.
and then you said the guy wearing the body cam is Brian Smith, right?
Yes, that
And
is
that
correct.
wasn't true, right?
That is correct. It was not
Actually,
Brian.
the guy whose body cam it was, right? Which I didn't know this, and you actually told me this back there.
Right.
When I said, pretty sure it's this Kennedy guy, we're going to subpoena him, you said, you can't subpoena him. He shot a lady and he's downstairs taking a plea, right?
Yes, you
Wrong.
can.
I did not say that at all.
In preparing for this case, did you read only your police reports?
Yes.
So you didn't see who else was involved in this case?
No, actually, when I got here, I asked who the detective was because I didn't have everybody's report. I was only sent mine.
So you don't know a lot about this case, right?
Just what I took over the phone.
And when's the first time you spoke to anybody over here on this side?
Yesterday.
Okay. So no one prepped you for this. No one spoke to you about this. You didn't really read all the reports or prep yourself.
I didn't see anybody's report other than mine.
Because if you would have read them, right, you would have obviously known, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Kennedy's in here. And, but
Correct.
you didn't.
Object again.
Sustain. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can step outside, please, and I'll bring you back in. All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, the court has made their rulings on certain things. You are not allowed to go into that. Ask questions. Questions will be answered. But there is a way to ask questions. The sidebar and adding different adjectives or adverbs to your question where the court has already ruled that at this point in time is not relevant, you're not allowed to do that. Okay? All right. We can bring back in. Oh, Deborah,
Yes, ma'am.
do you need a cough drop? Sure.
Oh, bless you.
Yes. Oh, that's the one with lotion in it. You said you're allergic.
No, that's okay, man. At this point, my poor nose is so sore.
Okay, sure. Sure.
I'm gonna assume this is somebody's.
That's gotta be me. I don't know if you can.
I didn't, you know,
Well, I think it's got a hole in the bottom. Thank you.
and I'm gonna put this right here so we can go to the basketball though.
All right, let's bring them back in. Oh, and when objections are made,
Yes, ma'am.
you need to stop talking because I need to rule on the objection. So whenever you hear somebody say objection, just stop speaking.
Okay.
All right. And the other thing to both sides, if there's a video, or if there's something being shown that you cannot see, you do not have to ask the court's permission to approach the witness. I'm assuming people are approaching the witness for a purpose. If it's discovered that you're not approaching the witness for any legal purpose, then of course the court will change that. But otherwise, you're all attorneys, you're all licensed. You can move about the courtroom to see what's being shown to witnesses.
Yes,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
let's bring them in. Okay. All right, y'all can be seated. Yes, we're ready to proceed.
All right, great.
All right, everyone, please be seated. And ladies and gentlemen, if ever you need a break, just remember to do the break sign for me and we'll let you have your break. All right, State, you may proceed.
Your Honor, I believe it was defense's cross.
Ah, all right, you may continue.
Thank you. So Officer Caballero, a second ago, Hugo had asked you if you spoke with Zanani on September 28th. That's not the right date, is it, that you spoke to her? Or did you speak with her on the 28th?
I don't recall. I have to look at my report,
Go ahead and
find the
refresh.
actual date.
Yes.
I can?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's what it's there for.
Well, okay. I found the date.
So did you and Hugo have that date wrong?
Who is Hugo?
The prosecutor that just asked you the 28th, and you said you spoke to her the 28th. Is that correct, or do you want to correct that?
I don't recall if he asked me that, but I can tell you what I wrote on the
Sure.
report. On my report, I put that I spoke to her on September the 24th.
Okay. And what day is this alleged event alleged to have happened? 17th, right?
Can I have to look at my report?
Sure.
Okay. Correct. She stated that it occurred on the 17th.
And do you know her name now?
Yes.
What is her name?
Zanani.
Nani. Okay, so you didn't know her name. You didn't know what date you spoke to people. You didn't read any of the reports.
Mhm.
You don't know who all's involved in this. So you don't really have very much to offer us, right?
I can't answer that. That's your opinion.
And you were never prepped or vetted, right?
No.
You know, in your report, you say, okay. All right. We'll save that for later. We might be calling you on recall. And thank you for being here. I apologize. I'm an emotional person. I'm frustrated at the situation. I don't mean to. I did see in your report when you are describing Zanani coming in, right? You say she's barely reporting it, and you say that because you know it's a weak case, right? She's just barely
Objection,
reporting.
Your Honor.
Sustained.
Is it true that you said that barely because you know it's a weak case and it's
Sustained.
why did you say barely? Do you remember?
I don't recall.
Do you always use adjectives like, well, she's just barely?
No.
You also, did you note in your report, there was no injuries? Did you note that anywhere in your report?
I didn't see her. I took the report over the phone, so I don't know if she had any injuries.
And you know, you wrote the first report you wrote was 2 sentences or 3 sentences, right? And then you came back and wrote this supplemental report.
Yes.
Do you remember doing that?
Yes.
How long after your initial report was your supplemental report?
The same. We have to do it the same day. They won't let us leave our shift until all our reports.
And
are
was that in
completed.
response to someone saying, hey, 2 sentences, you got to beef this up?
Your Honor, objection sidebar.
Overruled.
Did someone ask
overruled.
you to beef up your report because it was
No.
flimsy?
No.
No. And did you ever talk to anybody in the department about this case before trial today?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor. But I
State-
would,
Briefly, Judge.
Yes.
How long has it been since you worked on this case?
According to this, it was in 2022.
That would be 3 years.
Yes. And it was just my report that day. I don't do any investigation or anything else.
How many cases have you worked on since then, roughly?
I couldn't give you a number. Hundreds.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Any further questions?
One moment, Your Honor.
Ms. Caballero, have you received any training in investigating cases or crimes?
Just minimal training, but nothing as a detective or CID, nothing like that.
Have you been trained how to take reports?
We are not, yeah, well, we're not trained. We just kind of learn as we go,
Yeah.
what elements need to be in there.
So do you have any licenses?
Just my peace officer
So how are you
certification.
getting certified if you don't do training?
Well, I said in the beginning that we do 40 hours of training every year to keep our license. It doesn't necessarily have to be assault training. It could be, it's got to be like ethics, anything that'll equal 40 hours, but I don't have specialized.
Yeah, but y'all talk in that training about how to interview witnesses, correct?
Yes,
And your department probably provides you some training. If they're gonna have you out there collecting statements, right, they gotta get you some training, right?
yes, yes,
And is part of your training when you have witnesses come in that you separate them to make their statements?
that is correct, yes.
And you do that because if they're together, they could collaborate, sync up there, and you don't get a reliable statement, right? Or a trustworthy statement, correct?
Correct.
And you want to get to the truth, don't you?
Yes, sir.
So if officers in your department are letting them collaborate on their statements, is that very trustworthy according to your standards?
Excuse me. All right. Everyone can remain seated when they make their objections because I find that it's easier for people to make objections. Let me hear your question and then I'll hear your objection. So what is the question?
According to your training and your standards, is that a credible way to take witness statements?
To separate them? Yes.
And so, conversely to that, if it's credible to separate them, it's not credible to keep them together when they make the statements, right?
Not
Pretty
all,
obvious.
well, not all the time. If it's a juvenile, the parent has to be there.
But we're not talking about juveniles, are we?
Okay.
Do you know
No.
how old Zanani is?
I do not.
Do you remember anything about Zanani or this incident or anything?
All I remember is taking the report over the phone.
Okay. I also, do you wear a body cam?
Yes, we do.
And what is y'all's policy about turning on the body cam when you're taking statements and speaking with
It
witnesses?
has to be turned on.
Why wasn't yours? Where's your video?
It could be that we changed systems because we had WatchGuard before and those cameras did not last very long. We found that by, error by trial or however you say it, trial by error. So we switched now to utilities. So I couldn't answer that. Maybe my battery had died, but if it was active or charged, my body camera would have been on.
But you definitely didn't play any part in getting rid of that video.
Absolutely not.
Can you say the same for your department?
Objection, Your Honor.
They're under, well,
What is the objection?
Gonna be a sidebar.
No, the objection to sidebar will be overruled.
let me ask you, because I got no disclosure on this, so I don't know if it's really that related, but my understanding is that y'all's department's under investigation for some of the things going on in your videos and editing. and
Relevance and misleading the jury.
We're missing multiple videos, Your
All
Honor.
right, could everybody please approach? Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll step outside.
All right, the jury.
All right, have a seat. Oh, no. I was speaking to the witness. All right, so defense, your questions stating and adding to your question through this witness about discovery you have not received, that's an improper question. This witness does not know what discovery you've received from the state. So any questions about her, any questions you have to her stating, well, we didn't receive it, that's not her job. So If there's discovery you did not receive, you all sign an acknowledgement of discovery from the 226, because this case was transferred to this court from the 226. This witness is not the witness to state, I didn't receive discovery from the state. If you think you didn't receive discovery from the state, she has no way of knowing what you've received from the state. Now, if you want to ask her questions about what she has turned over to the state, you're more than welcome to ask that. But any of those other questions, the court is going to sustain those objections. Do not cross in that territory again through these witnesses, because these witnesses have no idea what you've received from the state. You are allowed to ask them maybe what they've turned over to the state, but that's it. Does everyone understand? Let's bring them in.
All right, the jury.
All right, please be seated. All right, you may proceed with your question. Yes. All right, you may proceed.
So Officer Caballero, when you spoke to Zanati, did you try to inquire, see if there was any other witnesses?
I don't recall if I asked her that.
If she did give you witnesses, that would be in your report, right?
Yes,
And if it's not in your report, we can infer that it didn't happen, right?
I can't, not necessarily. I don't,
But you've been trained to ask who are these witnesses, and you've been
Yes.
trained to put them in your report.
yes, sir.
So just to kind of summarize your testimony, you don't really know what day it happened. You don't really know the complaining witness's name. You're supposed to have your body camera on so that we can see what she told you and we can maybe impeach her with it, right? It goes to your credibility, but you don't know what happened. Maybe the battery's dead. Maybe you lost it. Maybe the dog ate it. Who knows, right? You don't even know if you turned your camera on. All you know is you're trained to turn it on, but I don't know if I turned it on. Is that correct?
No, because I took the report over the phone, so I'm not going to turn on a body camera unless I speak to a witness in person.
Did you record it?
No,
Are you trained to record it? Those calls aren't recorded.
through dispatch they are.
So you never turned over the recording from dispatch to the state?
I don't have anything to do with that. The calls are automatic. Every call that comes into our police department or our dispatch is automatically recorded.
So let me ask, every call, no matter how ridiculous, you just
Mhm.
take it and pass it on, right? You take the statement and pass it on, right?
If it has to be investigated, if there's criminal charges, that's when we forward it to our detectives.
Someone makes an allegation, no matter
yes.
if you think it's BS or not, you just pass it on. That's not you to,
Correct, correct.
and that's kind of what you did in this case. You think, if you can remember.
Yeah, I took the initial report and that was the end of my
So
involvement.
you weren't there at the time, right?
I was not there when the
You weren't
incident
in that
occurred.
car.
No,
You don't even know any of these people's names, right?
no.
You have no idea if she's credible or not.
I do not know her as a person, no.
That's all, Your Honor.
All right, is this
Save her
witness,
for-
please remain seated. Is this witness excused or subject to recall?
Excuse me, the state.
We would like the subject for recall, Your Honor.
All right, the rule has been invoked. What that means is you're not allowed to view or discuss your testimony about this trial with anyone. Yes, right. Just make sure you're available if either party wishes to recall you.
Okay.
All right,
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am. Thank you.
State, call your next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, the state calls Sergeant Jimenez to stand.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so everyone can hear. If you'll state your name for the record.
Yes, ma'am. Rudy Jimenez,
And if you'll spell your last name, please.
Jimenez.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Good morning, Sergeant Jimenez. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you.
And where do you currently work?
I work for the City of Castroville Police Department.
And what's your role there?
I'm a patrol sergeant.
And what do you do as a patrol sergeant?
So I assist the officers with any types of investigations they maybe have going on, responding to 911 calls, and just kind of supervise as a first line supervisor.
Where did you work before then?
I worked for the City of Live Oak,
And how long were you at Live Oak?
5 years.
What was your role with Live Oak?
With Live Oak, I left there as a patrol sergeant, but prior to that, I was a detective with the police department.
And what are the differences between the responsibilities of a detective versus a patrol officer?
As a detective, we just did more of the investigating. We did a lot of the follow up, and just reviewed a lot of the information that was presented to us with our caseload that was given to us by our supervisors. Whereas as a patrol sergeant, we're more of a first line where we're out on the road with the patrol officers.
And when you were with Live Oak, you were a detective, correct?
Yes, sir.
What was your responsibility?
To investigate any of the cases that were sent to us from our supervisors. Again, we do more of the follow-up investigations, reviewing all of the information, whether it be the initial reports, statements, body cam footage, photographs, things of that nature. We would review all of that information. And then after reviewing that, we would make the determination whether or not probable cause was met to go ahead and file the case.
And what kind of cases did you work on?
We worked, a variety of cases. We've worked assaults, thefts, homicides, just all kinds of cases.
Were you working with Live Oak in 2022?
Yes, sir.
And at that point in time, what was your job title?
I was detective corporal.
And how long had you been a police officer at that point in time?
At that time, I believe about 13 years.
Do you remember being assigned a case with the complainant of Zanini Jefferson?
Yes, sir.
When were you assigned this case, if you recall?
I believe it was sometime in September of 2022.
Did you make a report at that time?
I didn't collect the initial report. I was given the case file, but yes, I did do a follow-up report in reference to the initial report.
Do you remember the report number?
I don't, not off the top of my head.
If you were given a copy of that report, would it help refresh your recollection?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this point in time, I'm approaching with what's been marked with Stick Exhibit 2 for identification purposes. Do you recognize what I handed you?
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
This is my supplemental report.
And how do you know that's yours?
Based off of the information that's listed on here, it's documenting my follow-up in reference to the investigation.
If there's ever a point in time where you don't recall anything, feel free to refresh your recollection with the report. However, please don't read off of it, okay?
Yes, sir.
So you said you were handed the file from a supervisor, correct?
Yes, sir.
What steps do you take after you receive a file?
So once we receive the file, read over all the documents that are included in the file. Again, that's the initial report taken by any of the officers that were associated with the case. Review the statements, if there's statements in there. If there's not, then that's where my investigation will begin with the follow-up of trying to collect statements from anybody that was involved, any witnesses, things of that nature. Reviewing photographs, body cam footage, anything to clarify anything that may not have been listed in the report or something that I may not have clarification on after reading statements or the reports.
And just to clarify, that's what you do generally,
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
In this case, what did you do?
The same thing. I'm very consistent with my manner of investigating because it helps keep a steady pace whenever you get cases, because we do get assigned, quite a few cases at once. So I learned, for me, that works for me is just to review everything that's in that case file to determine whether or not that case needs to be worked on immediately, or if it's a case that can be set to the side to address some priority cases.
Did you identify a complainant in this case?
Yes, sir.
And what was the name of that person?
I'm going to refer back to this. The Zanini Jefferson, I believe, was the name.
Ms. Jefferson?
Yes, sir.
And did you get a chance to speak to Ms. Jefferson?
Yes, sir, I did.
What, if anything, did she describe to you without going into?
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Were the elements of an offense described to you by Ms. Jefferson?
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Yes, sir, they were.
And did she identify any witnesses?
Yes, sir.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Untimely.
What, if anything, do you do with that information?
Basically, I'll use that during my investigation. I'll review their statements if they wrote any. If not, then I will reach out to any witnesses that may have been there at the time of the incident to try to get a statement from them.
And if you remember, who were the witnesses identified?
It was, I believe,
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Did you speak to these witnesses?
yes, sir.
Was there a defendant identified?
Yes, sir.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
What were the names of the people that you spoke to in regard to this investigation?
It was Miss Barbara Jefferson and Miss, sorry, I got to refer back to the report. I think it was Miosha and Mr. Duran.
And who was Barbara?
That was the complainant's grandmother.
What was her involvement in this case?
She was a witness to the incident. She was inside of the vehicle at the time of the incident.
Was her statement consistent with Ms. Jefferson's statement?
Yes, sir.
Who was Myosha?
That was Mr. Duran's wife, I believe.
And did you get a chance to talk to her?
Yes, sir.
Was her statement consistent with the complainant's statement in this case?
No, sir.
What, if any, differed?
The statement given by Miosha was that there was no physical contact during the incident.
And the complainant, what did she describe?
She had been choked by Mr.
Objection, Your Honor.
What is the objection?
Hearsay.
Sustained.
Were you able to speak to Mr. Duran in this case?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever meet Mr. Duran in person, sir? So you wouldn't be able to identify him if you saw him?
No, sir.
When you spoke to Mr. Duran, how could you be sure that it was him you were speaking with?
When I spoke to him via phone, I had him provide his identifying information, name and date of birth.
Was that information confirmed?
Yes, sir.
And when you spoke to the other witnesses in this case, did you also ask them identifying questions?
I don't recall whether or not I did it at that time with Miosha, but with the other ones, yes, sir, I did.
During this investigation, did you ever make a scene? Did you ever investigate a location?
During this investigation, no, sir.
And why is that?
Based on that, the information had already been a couple months past when it had been reported, based on there being a little bit of a delay from the initial incident to when it was reported.
Is that unusual for you?
No, sir.
In your experience, why is that not unusual?
Sometimes it depends on the complainant on whether or not they want to come forward or if they're comfortable coming forward, depending on the offense. Sometimes there's just a delay with reports.
You mentioned earlier in your testimony that you review everything in the case, photos, body-worn camera, reports. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you review any photos in this case?
No, sir.
Going back to your conversation with Mr. Duran, what was Mr. Duran's version of events?
During my conversation with him, he kind of walked me through the same scenario that they had gone to the movie theater to watch a movie. The complainant had left her phone. They weren't able to find it, so she became upset, at which time a verbal argument began between them. During that argument, things had continued as an argument, and that was the extent of what had occurred. When I had asked Mr. Duran, or I advised him that I was investigating potential assault, I asked him if at any point in time there was any contact made between him and the complainant, at which time he stated that there was not.
Did his version of events ever change?
Yes, sir.
How did it change?
As I continued my investigation, I had spoken to Mr. Duran, and I advised him that, there's times depending on the arguments and how things may escalate, that there's times where individuals are potentially pushed to a point that things may escalate, whether it's a common occurrence for them or not, that sometimes things just tend to escalate. And then at that point in time, I again asked him if anything had occurred, any contact had been made. And at that point in time, Mr. Duran had stated that that he did reach back during the arguments and that he may have grabbed the complainant by her arm.
And this was different from the version that you received earlier in the same conversation.
Yes, sir.
Did that stand out to you?
Yes, sir. Based on the types of investigations we do, a lot of times we will get a denial. And then as we continue with the investigations and provide a little bit more detail in reference to what may be available, what may have occurred, and then at times the stories will change. It is possible for that to happen, yes, sir.
This conversation with Mr. Duran, how did it occur?
Via phone.
And did you make a recording or a record of this conversation?
Yes, sir, it was recorded.
So going back to when the story changed with the contact, did you continue talking to Mr. Duran after that?
Yes, sir.
What did the conversation entail of?
After Mr. Duran had explained to me that he may have grabbed the complainant's arm, he went on to state, that wasn't common for him and that he was just upset, and that after that incident, he had actually removed himself from the vehicle and that he had walked home.
How did that impact your investigation?
I had to look at everything from a different perspective, look at everything as a whole, based off of the initial denial and then the comment about potentially making contact. I had to kind of start looking at the statements given by the other witnesses to determine whether or not those matched. Because again, everybody has a different perspective of what had occurred. And so what we do is we typically look at all the witness statements, everything together to determine whether or not there is a matching bottom line when it comes to the investigation.
Was Duran able to identify who was in the vehicle at that point in time?
I don't recall if I had asked him that or if he had identified them.
You mentioned that Myosha and Barbara were also in the vehicle, correct?
Yes, sir.
Who is Myosha in relation to Miss Jefferson?
I believe it is her stepmother.
And Mr. Duran to Miss Jefferson?
I believe it is a wife. I'm sorry. Melcha is her mother, Mr. Duran's wife, and Mr. Duran is the stepfather, I believe.
Was this version, Mr. Duran's version of events, consistent with the rest of your investigation?
It matched Myosha's statement, but it didn't match Barbara's or the complainant's statement.
What was the differing point?
The type of contact.
Objection hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Did Duran identify an assault?
Initially, no, sir.
And after talking to him, in your experience and training, did he identify an assault?
He did, but very vague because his comment was he may have. So that's where I had to kind of take a perspective and match that with the other statements.
What else did you do in your investigation for this case?
I spoke to Myosha to get her side of the incident as well.
Was that statement consistent with the other
Objection
statement?
hearsay again, Your Honor.
Sustained.
What did you do after your investigation was complete?
Once my investigation was complete, I put everything together, did my final review of all the information that was provided, then the statements that were given via phone call and the written statements. And after reviewing everything, determined that there was enough probable cause to file the case with the district attorney's office.
Do you file every case that you investigate?
No, sir.
Why not?
Not the elements for probable cause isn't always met. So it's important for us to make sure that all of those elements are met prior to them being approved.
And you believe the elements were met in this case?
Yes, sir.
Now, going back to your phone call with Mr. Evans, you mentioned that was recorded.
Yes, sir.
And when you made that recording, your device, to the best of your knowledge, was working correctly.
Yes, sir.
I'm approaching with what's been marked for identification purposes at exhibit number 3.
Yes, Your Honor, can we approach briefly?
Yes. All right, defense, you may proceed. I'm sorry, state, you may proceed.
I know it's been marked for identification purposes at exhibit number 3. What did I hand you?
There's a disc that has my initial with the date on it. It says statement.
And have you reviewed this kind of course?
Yes, sir.
And what is on the disc?
It is the recording of my interview with Mr. Duran.
Has it been modified or changed in any way?
No, sir. Not that I'm aware of.
If it was a legal redaction that would have been on this.
Yes, sir.
And how do you know this is the same disc that you reviewed?
It's got my initials and the date on it that I reviewed it.
Your Honor, at this time, the state will move to admit exhibit number 3 into evidence.
Your Honor, I would object if the state is not that he's aware of, he can't reference because of the issue with the police department. He can't with certainty say that this video or this audio has not been altered or deleted in any way, shape, or form because he's unequivocal in that. He's not unequivocal in that statement. I don't believe the state has made its predicate and therefore it should be excluded.
All right, my understanding from the witness's testimony is that the only redactions on that video were legal redactions. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, the defense's objection is overruled.
May we publish, Your Honor?
Yes,
We approach, Your Honor.
yes.